Wow, weird. Okay, so I think we're live. We have a really bad connection today. So if not, this will be recorded. We'll have it up later. Hey, how's it going, everybody? Happy Monday. Let me get a drink of water. 3 of these a day. Gots to stay hydrated. So, how's everybody doing? Happy Monday. Hope you're off to an awesome first part of the week. If you're at home, you might want to go to the pantry and grab yourself something, a package of food or something. Anything that has a nutrition label on it, because that's what we're going to talk about today. I'm going to break it down. I'm going to read you some important parts of the food label. And if you want to follow along, I'll give you 3 seconds to go get one. Okay, hopefully you're back. If you're watching live, please let me know by saying or typing live below. And if you're watching us on the replay, do the same. Just please type in replay. Lets me know when people are watching the videos for future references, okay? So, we're going to talk about analyzing a food label, okay? What we're going to look at today is we're going to learn all about this can of beans. Everything you need to know, okay? We're going to find out if it's healthy or not. I'm going to teach you some quick things to look at while you're in the grocery store so you can make smart decisions about what you're putting in your shopping cart and then later putting in your mouth. If you want to know even more in-depth information about that, I have posted a link in the description of this live video, and you can download my new ebook. It's totally free. It's called Cracking the Food Label Code, and we go into great detail in that quick little read. It's a quick little read, but lots and lots of great information about how to read food labels and make smart decisions for yourself and your family, okay? If I look down, I don't want you to think that I'm being rude, and I don't want to make eye contact. I have some notes here on my screen so that I can get all the points across that I want to get in today. So when you pick something up in the grocery aisle and you're thinking about whether you want to take this home and eat it or not, one of the first things you want to look at is the ingredients list. That's number one, and that is right here. Can you guys see that? So, let me move this just a little bit. I got some notes here. Right here at the top. It's going to be in different places depending on what you're getting, but it will say in all food labels pretty much have to look the same by FDA regulations. So they'll always have a bold ingredients. It will boldly say ingredients and what's in it. Basically, when you're looking at this, the less ingredients in this, the better it is for you. Especially if it's got stuff in it that you can't even, pronounce. So this one I'm looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. All right, like 8 to 10. Okay, well, one of these is chili powder, which we all know chili powder is basically what? It's chili powder, cumin, salt, pepper, some other spices, okay? So I would count that as one. Like a teaspoon of chili powder would be one ingredient. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, like 7 things in here. This is a good product, okay? It's just my general rule of thumb. I try to keep it as low as possible, 5 or less. But if this were just a can of beans, not a can of chili beans, and there was 7 or 8 ingredients in here, I'd put it back on the shelf. That's just way too... A can of beans, water, beans. That's the only, maybe some salt. That's the only ingredients that should be in that can. Something else you should be aware of when you're looking at these things, they are labeled or listed in order of weight. So whatever is the most prominent ingredient in this can is going to be listed first, and whatever is least prominent is going to be last. So what would you guess would be the number one ingredient in this can of beans? Would you say beans? If you did, you would be wrong, because the number one ingredient in this can of beans is water. So there's more water in here per volume, per weight, than beans, okay? Excuse me. So once again, look, if you can't pronounce what's in here, if you can't pronounce the what it is, chances are it's a preservative, or it's something that you really just don't even want in your body to begin with. So steer clear of that. The next thing you need to want to look for is sugar, okay? And you have to be careful with it, because they're getting sneakier and sneakier. See, people are starting to realize how bad sugar is for you. And they are getting sneakier and sneakier about what they call sugar. There's like 60 different names for sugar on a food label. Stuff like barley malt, dextrose, agave nectar, dehydrated cane juice. I saw that one the other day. Fructose. Anything with OSE at the end, that's sugar. So it sneaks in. It sneaks in. If you're not aware of it, you won't even know. Also, anything in here that says hydrogenated or partially hydrogenated on the label, that means this is basically an unhealthy product for you to eat. Unhealthy trans fats are in this food. And there's also a part here for trans fats. But anything hydrogenated, partially hydrogenated, those are fats that they put in foods to make them stabilize, have a higher shelf life. They are very, very, very bad for you, like a leading cause of heart disease and other problems that people have. So you definitely want to stay clear of that stuff. Okay, number two, next thing I want you to look at is the serving size. Okay, it's very easy to eat more than what's on the label. This serving size is half a cup. Half a cup of beans. You have a half a cup of beans with a piece of steak or some chicken or something. That's a pretty good meal, okay? It's, like I said, it's way too easy to eat more than the recommended portion size. So you got to pay really close attention to that. The other thing, number three, calories, the total number of calories and your macros. So in this can of chili beans, we have amount per serving is 100 calories. So look, if all you were going to eat was this whole can of beans, sodium might be a problem. We'll talk about that in a second. But so it says there's 3.5 servings in this container at a half a cup. So if you ate this entire can of beans, which would be a lot of beans, might bother you later in other ways, that would be 350. It would be less than 400 calories. So you could take things like that into consideration based on what your goals are. And that's where we come to the macros, okay? Macros, your proteins, your carbs, your fats, all that good stuff. If you want to know more how I break this down, you can see the exact breakdown, how we lay it out for you in the ebook, the free ebook. I gotta make sure everybody knows it's free. Free ebook, Cracking the Food Label Code. Link in the description. Just click on that. It's totally free. Download it. In a nutshell, make sure that the percentage of fats, proteins, carbohydrates, all those things are in line with what your goals are. If you're trying to take in more protein, you want to pick products that have a higher protein content. If you are trying to cut back on carbs, then you want to look at products that have less carbs. It's really that simple. Sodium is the next big thing. Other than sugar, we already talked about sugar, but sugar is the devil in my book. The next thing to be concerned about is sodium. When you're eating high processed foods, man, sodium really sneaks into these things, especially cans, boxes, all that stuff. So you really want to pay attention to that. The experts say for the sugar, okay, for the sugar, they say 25 milligrams for women, 38 milligrams for men. Me personally, I say less than 25 for everybody. Okay, don't even worry about 30. Am I 38? Am I 25? Just 25 milligrams of sugar or less per day for everybody. And you'd be surprised how easily it is to sneak that sugar in. You don't even know you're eating it. When the sodium comes around, the American Heart Association recommends 2,300 milligrams or less per day. Recent studies have been done that show that having a higher sodium intake doesn't necessarily lead to high blood pressure. But if you do have high blood pressure, and I suffered with high blood pressure for a long time until I got my weight under control. If you suffer from high blood pressure, it's a very serious thing. So 2,300 milligrams or less per day. Now, remember when I said if you ate this whole can of beans, 3.5 servings, well, there's 450 milligrams of sodium per serving. So you do the math on that. You're clocking in at almost your daily recommended value already with just a can of beans. So that's why you have to be careful with this stuff. And don't forget those trans fats that we talked about. Sorry, I'm wheezing. I'm trying to get rid of this cough. It's been killing me. Now, number 5 on my list is we want to look for things that we actually want more of in our food. And the first place we look is our vitamins and minerals. And that's usually, let me get this up here so you can see it. I'm backwards now. Okay, it's usually down here under the protein. Can you guys see that? Well, this is really harder than I thought it was going to be. Okay, so we got calcium, potassium, iron, vitamin D. All that stuff will be posted in there. And it will show what the daily, the percentage, that's what I'm trying to say, the percentage of the daily recommendations are. So here we have 400 milligrams of potassium. I just showed you that. And beside it, it says 8%. Well, basically what that's telling you is that is if you eat this serving of beans, you're getting 8% of your recommended daily allowance of potassium. And that's how that works, okay? Fiber is another one. Fiber has a couple of jobs that you should be aware of. Fiber is really good in aiding digestion. Fiber is also good at making you feel like you're more full, that you've eaten more. So when you actually haven't eaten more, so it makes you eat less. Really good if you're trying to cut some lbs, right? Also, dietary fiber is super good for your heart. Helps, as I heard a wise man once say, it scrapes the sides, okay? It cleans out the pipes, right? And dietary fiber has been shown to help not only reduce the risk of heart disease, but also reverse heart disease in many, many people. I'll share a book with you guys sometime in the near future that have some great information on that. How much fiber? The experts say women should shoot for about 25 milligrams, or I'm sorry, 25 grams, and men right around 38. Me personally, everybody should be shooting for 40 grams of fiber every day. Like, it is so good for your heart. Just find ways to get it in. Beans are a really good source of fiber. A serving of these beans is 5 grams of dietary fibers. You have beans a couple of times a day, and you're getting you're getting 10 to 15 grams of fiber just from that. All right. So how are we doing so far? Did I bore you to death yet? If you're doing all right, give me a like. So what I want to share with you, I just call it the 10-second stand. So you're standing in the aisle of the food aisle in your grocery store, and you're wondering whether you want to put this can of beans in your shopping cart or your basket or your bag. And you don't want to take forever to figure this out. You just want to, you know, what's the best thing for me? First thing, look at the ingredients. How many of them are there? How many of them are there? Is there 20 ingredients in a can of beans? Not a good product. Is there 3 or 4 in a can of beans? Good product. Look for the things you don't want in there. The things you don't want to eat. Is there sugar in here? Is there like 3 different words that mean sugar in this ingredients label? Scan it really quick. Next, you're going to look at the serving size. Is it reasonable? Right? If this can of beans, if it said there was 12 servings in this can of beans, I'm putting this back because it's unreasonable. What is that? A couple of mouthfuls of beans? Not a good choice. Okay? Then check the calories and the macro backgrounds. Make sure that it aligns with what your goals are. Okay? And then if it makes the cut, glance at the sodium, glance at the sugar, look at the stuff that you want less, check for those trans fats. And lastly, look for the good stuff. How's the fiber? How's the protein? How are the vitamins and the minerals? 10 seconds. You can look at this in 10 seconds, know whether you want to put it in your basket or you want to put it back on the shelf. All right? Pretty simple, right? First, eliminate the stuff you don't want. Then check for just like the healthy bonuses, okay? And that is it. I hope that helped. I hope that helped a lot. Look, like I said, if you want to know more, if you want more information like this, it is simply, I am just a DM away. Just slide into my DMs with your food label questions. Oh, that's weird. It's Monday. All right? And don't forget, grab the free ebook. All you have to do is click on the link in the description. In the description of this video, there is a link for you to download the free ebook, Cracking the Food Label Code. It goes into great detail about all the stuff we just talked about in the last 15, 16 minutes. All right? All right, guys. If you have any questions, hey, feel free to hit me up. Thanks. Enjoy your week.